Sword of the Stars, the pit. Again, still haven't come up with the intro. It's about 10 seconds later than it was earlier. I'm just making sure that the sound is working this time around. And hopefully you will actually be able to hear me. Oh man, that's really annoying that I talked a whole lot early on and nobody heard any of it. You will actually be able to hear me. Oh man, there I am. Okay, all right. So welcome back. I may go back over that video on my YouTube and dub over it. We'll see. I'm not sure that I care that much. Anyway, we're sort of just now getting into the game then. If you watched the first video, you saw me run around as the scout in this brilliant game and get down to extremely low health values. This is on purpose, sort of. I mean, it wasn't on purpose getting hit, but remaining at this low health is entirely on purpose. Okay, so we can't survive another full hit, but we will kill them, presumably. Darn, I was really hoping that that would get us to the next level. Well, if we're lucky, yes. If we're lucky, these rock piles will.
No worries.
Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. Planned it. There we go. So, as you can see, whenever we choose to level up, we get all our health back. Ta-da! Alright, so I went through a really lengthy explanation involving your stats and skills on a video that didn't have my voice on it. So that's kind of a bummer. And I'll cut it short. Needless to say, we are putting points in might. And what I'm going to be doing this run is putting points into most, but not all, of the psi skills. Good. We've got a couple of skills already that we can start using. And then, now that foraging was at level 45, which is as high as skills can progress naturally with the exception of psionics. So we're going to put points in foraging. We already put a point in the melee. I don't think I really want to continue doing that. I will consider putting a point in the pistol. Yeah, it's probably important to go ahead and use our skill points early on because we get so many of them. Yeah, melee, I'll probably get up to about 50, and then I will likely stop working on it. Took a step too far there. That happened. Many steps too far there. So the scout has standard movement, which means we move 2 steps for every turn we get to take. Or 1 step in an action. Fortunately, you do not get 2 actions if you do not move your action ends the turn. Your weapons will determine how many actions per turn you take, in a sense. Okay, we are still wearing our body armor, which surprisingly has not taken any durability loss yet. Good protection against light attacks. Okay, well, that's fine. We do want it on for descending floors because this game likes to do nasty stuff like put enemies directly behind you and give you scorpions. I think we're okay to just punch these guys down. And I think I'll go ahead and unequip this armor. Let's add this crowbar that we found. Very, very lucky to find the crowbar, by the way. It's just a super high durability weapon, which is really useful to have at all points in the game. We're still going to be using our melee a lot, because and the crowbar uses the melee skill, so we don't have to our melee is not wasted if we put points into it, because we're still going to be using that long after we stop punching.
Well, that sucked.
So every time you use a skill, you have a chance to gain a skill point in it, regardless of whether or not you succeed. You only get 3 tries on each door to unlock them, but it's worth using all 3 for the chance to skill up and the experience that you get. Let's actually go ahead and go this way first. It's likely that the exit is. Oh, we need to assign our psionics. That's what we're going to do. So this shadow bat.
Okay, focus.
I'm just going to use my psionics so that if he drains the rest of it, it's not a big deal, and then we can go ahead. The shadow bats don't. And their kin don't do crazy amounts of damage. They do kind of an annoying amount of damage. But not crazy amounts of damage. However, they do drain your side points, which is a bit of a bummer. Humans have decent regeneration in general. I'm not sure how it is for the scout specifically. Okay, so 56. So it looks like every 5 turns we get 4 side points. So kind of slow regen, but not too bad. Okay, so we have our life sense going, so we can see that there are multiple things around the corner there. So let's just pull this rat back a little bit. We also don't really want to go in this door. We don't want to go through this door, rather, because that door trap to aside that. It hasn't noticed us yet. Okay. We're going to peek our heads here. We've got kind of some nasty enemies here. The enlarged virus can get us real sick real quick. Get one of them to head our way at a time here. So, normally, and if you're watching this video, it's likely that you've seen others that I've done, since I stream infrequently enough that my viewership does not grow rapidly. You know that I normally stream Dungeon Quest Jutsu, which I still think is one of the best games ever made. Or, you know, some of the best games that are crowdsourced. Okay, so we close that door. I don't want to. Oh, good, this rat is small. So the reason why I'm so incredibly stingy with everything is that resources are incredibly precious in this game. Ammunition is extremely valuable.
Help me, sister. Give
And
me
wasting
strength.
even a single shot can mean that we don't win the game. I know it sounds kind of dramatic, but it really... I've run out of ammunition. We will run out of ammunition.
Just go away.
It's just a matter of whether or not we found a weapon with different ammunition by the time that happens. The auto pistol, which is what we start with the scout, is also kind of a double-edged sword. Ooh, yikes. There's a human on the wall, too. That's really bad. Ow. Oh yeah, we sure gained a level off of that. Another crazed human. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, well, let's go ahead and level up then. So that we're not just taken out in a single shot by that crazed human. Resistance... I don't know that I think for now I'm going to continue putting points into all of the psi skills. Unless you've used... If you've used one of the skills in a tree, I think it might increase the chance of a multiple point gain, but I don't know.
I'm ready.
Regardless, we will be spamming our abilities. Darn it, I was hoping that we would not do that. So, How do I step to manipulate this properly? I was trying to get to the point where I would just be, I would have 2 movement in the location below where I'm standing now. But I think we're just going to go ahead and shoot this guy. That's what you just saw is the downside of the auto pistol, which is that it fires 2 shots at the same target always, which means you cannot split the shots, and you also let's hope we can go down, but
You're dead.
So you occasionally waste bullets with the auto pistol. You'll notice that I kind of delayed my attack a little bit until, with healing in this game, it's not, even though the game is turn-based, the healing spell doesn't take effect until after the enemy's turn has already started and bullets hit you in real time, attacks hit you in real time. So it's a very weird setup. Basically, if you're facing an enemy that can heal, and you see them cast the spell, wait. I'm just going to run through this. It might be destroy an item. Oh, it's Madness Field. Okay. So now we get to fight off a bunch of illusions. Oh, we still have another skill point that we can put into something or other. I don't really want to put it into any that we have available to us. So we'll just let it chill. We'll have plenty of opportunity to mess about with that later. These are all illusory. So door traps are the same. Once you've discovered a door trap, what it does, all door traps are the same color. Will have the same effect, which is useful once you get them all identified, but it's kind of a pain going through that process. Sometimes literally, that's just hurt you. So poison and disease in this game, and radiation, are all similar effects. They all drain your stats over time. Ooh, nice. Okay. That's memo. Okay, we're going to re-equip our armor. And descend. Okay. Unequip that again. Since this is not super threatening. Poison is a little annoying, but it's not... Oh, yikes. Now these guys have a really strong shape that can cause us a lot of problems, but...
Concentrate. Concentrate.
And with this, we're going to knife it a few times, and then... Okay, so we did get the bad poison. I'm definitely okay with just punching at this point. We are already quite injured. Really thought that these guys would less help than that. But... Okay, so I don't think we actually have any poison cures. Nope. So we're just gonna have to kind of wait this out. Which is a bit of a bummer. I feel like the scout has a pretty
Help me, sister. Give
a
me
pretty
strength.
difficult curve as far as enemy appearance goes. The different classes encounter their foes at different points in the game, or have the potential to. Let's just go ahead and rest for a few turns. I did not mean to zoom in there. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have a visit from the Strangler, which, given our current state of distress, I think definitely using at least the knife. I think we probably thought of this one. Yeah, okay, we did actually need both shots, so it's good that we at least used. We probably have to use some healing here. Okay. This guy can disease us, which is a bummer. But we did get antibodies, which we can later mix with moldy bread, I believe, to generate a cure disease potion, essentially.
I'm ready.
We are fortunate also in that we are very nearly at a skill up. This guy can touch. Poison wears off over time no matter what. Disease has a chance to worsen over time, as well as reduce critical. Generally, you will... let's back this up a bit. So we've got foes on Metrobots here. And we're still poisoned. Fortunately, I think that this bat for the next will give us a level. So, I think we're going to go ahead and shoot that. I kind of want to spam my psionics a little bit more before we level. And I need Cyclones for that.
You're dead.
Because we'll get a refill when we level up. Which we should do, preparing this cooker is possibly beyond our abilities. So let's 70% chance. I think that's worth the risk. It could just blow up and kill us. Because, you know, it does that. But alright. We cast both of our psi abilities again, and now I'm on to leveling up. So the tricky thing about leveling up is that you can accidentally double level, which is where before you level up, you gain enough experience to reach the following level, in which case you gain all of the base stats like health and food capacity and side points, but you lose all of the skill and stat points that you would have gotten. You instead get none, I think is how it works. Anyway, it's really bad, very addictive. And we don't want any part of that. So, it's not really a problem beyond the first couple of levels, but eventually, you know, it's something that you really need to be aware of. So, the reason why we're not putting points into Warmind is because it's kind of redundant, I find. Like, its effects are technically unique, but I just don't... I don't like them as much as similar effects in trees with greater utility. I think we can leave a couple of points floating for now. Alright. So we've encountered a cooker here, which is actually really nice. So here are the aggressive antibiotics that I was talking about earlier. I think I'm going to go ahead and make those just because it's a really, well, let's do something first. Which we have 7. Alright, so we're going to be doing this one at a time, probably, because I think our biotech skill is not yet fortified. I would assume it's not. Oh, it is! Okay, so we actually have no reason to cook things individually, except that, oh, hey, Nano Thingy. How's it going? So biotech is as high as it can get naturally. So the only reason why we wouldn't cook all of our meat at once is the risk that the whole thing will go wrong, and we lose all 7. We'll also save one of these raw meats to turn into pungent meat. It's another recipe that I've found. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of recipes. Okay, excellent. Also, cookers have limited uses, so we kind of... in fact, I think I'll go ahead and grab these antibiotics second. Oh, gotta add the ingredients. Alright. Well, thanks, Nano. Yeah, this is my first time streaming the pit. I've done quite a bit of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup streaming in the past. 86%. Yeah, it's not great. Okay, well, we succeeded, so that's nice. Go ahead and use the crowbar on this thing. I find that it just takes a little too long to punch. Okay, so now we have some food which we can sort through with this. I'll go ahead and eat the Soul Force rations first, because they're not an ingredient to anything. Same thing with the food pellets. Oh, we've got a lot of rations. Alright, cool. Yeah, we can eat one. You really don't want to overeat this game. Nice, very cool. I actually, I have not gotten a win on this game yet. I've only been playing it for about 30 hours. Not straight, obviously, but and I've messed around with it a lot and done some strange things and died some strange deaths. Okay, so let's go ahead and cook some pumpkin meat here. Make good use of our scent glands. I have very few recipes so far, unfortunately. I will admit, I have peeked at a few online because it's just really frustrating. They have a bunch of stuff that you know combines, and I just want to go through the trial and error of, you know, doing it 200 times to get all the right conversations. Okay, kind of a bummer that we didn't succeed in that. Our trap skill is actually pretty good. Yeah, it's 45. But, what can we do? Probably set off an alarm with this one. 270 hours. You know, I feel like that's maybe about what it took to get my first dungeon crawl win. Like, I think roguelikes in general, anything in the triple digits of hours is pretty common. Beyond that, it starts to get a little bit onerous. I mean, it takes 1,000 hours to win a game. You're making the game too hard. Yeah, I'm playing through on normal. I normally prefer to play games at their hardest difficulty. What's this? Okay, healing. Alright. I normally prefer to play games on their hardest difficulty just because I feel like that's... If they're designed to be played at that difficulty, then why not do it that way? However, because this game has a non-roguelike component in that you know, acquire recipes as you go, and you can't really get recipes if you die in the first floor, yeah. I do have all the characters. I did go ahead and get the DLC. I love this game, and I'm perfectly willing to support it. I generally don't like paid DLC on principle. I just think it's the bad cross between economics and video games. It's just... It can be really skeevy. Now, with some games like this, I'm sure that, you know, they did not have all of them pre-programmed when they released the game, and that's why they added them. But, yeah. That was part of why I got the DLC, is to be able to have all of the enemies.
Not this time, I think.
Okay, good. We resisted his psionic attack. If I'd known that we would be bumping into mind walls already, I wouldn't have been spamming Psi Shield. I would have just been spamming Life Sense. But now we're out of here. Bummer. It's okay. I think he's almost gone here. Yeah, alright. We're fine. And we can go back. Okay, good. Don't have to. Tainted Meat is pretty good. Yeah, I haven't encountered too many bugs yet. There's certainly certainly some weird AI stuff. Scout really does have a, I feel like a pretty vicious enemy difficulty curve. I mean, these skeletal humans, I don't, yeah. I don't recall those being this early on some of the other classes, but I don't know, we'll see. Again, I'm still very much getting used to this game. It's a blast, but it's, yeah. the number of permutations and combinations in this game, of just things that you have to do to stay alive, is staggering. Which is great. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I definitely enjoy playing this game. Yeah, bugs are always fun. An interactable item that's very strong, that's up 100% success rate. That seems like it's not fitting in with the flavor of the game. I am curious, for the time being, what that item happens to be, because I am definitely a firm believer of exploiting everything that you can in this sort of game. I believe if you were meant to play by rules that were not explicitly laid out for you, then, well, they would have been explicitly laid out for you. Or you're setting yourself. Now, I don't, like, modify the source code, because I don't think... If it's in the game, I'll play it. At least the first time through. Okay, so we're getting some decent stuff here. I don't have any bread-type things, so I can't even experiment with recipes right now. I only have one compass, so I can't go for steak and shrooms. That's fine, then. Oh, thanks, Nano. I definitely appreciate the lack of spoilers. I suppose, tell me this specific thing, but in general, I do try to keep a spoiler-free environment for people. Not religiously or anything, but I try to talk more about game mechanics than in-game stuff. Also, I just don't know a whole lot about the endgame because I haven't really seen past 420 yet. And so I couldn't tell you one way or the other. But no, I figure with roguelikes, I mean, if you want a spoiler-free environment, you probably aren't going to be watching a stream. So this could really go badly for us if we set off a wormhole trap, because we are kind of at low health. But I felt like it was a decent risk to take. Because it is an excellent get-out-of-jail-free card if we get into some super hairy situations. We just start setting the trap, and when something interrupts us, we... Okay. Oh no! I still have my pistol equipped. Oops. Some of the... I mean, generally speaking, it's best to...
It's just like flying.
Shut doors behind you, but there aren't any monsters over in that giant area, for sure. Since I already cleared that out.
Need better tools.
Been getting about average luck so far. Maybe a little bit above average, as far as success rate of things. As far as loot goes, yeah, it's about average. I don't know that I really want to use a lockpick set on just a crate. Ow. Rude. Since I didn't use lockpick, I probably should have unequipped my stuff, or dropped my stuff. You can drop things that are in your inventory, so they don't get damaged. You'll be seeing me do that a lot. Oh yes, cats are very distracting. Yeah, go ahead and tell me which item it is. I love goofy things like that that are definitely going to be fixed. Especially since, you know, I'm still going through the slog of decrypting all of the 300 recipes or whatever that they decided to put into this game and make really hard to get a hold of. So I feel like I can, you know, a mod works. Okay, cool. I don't need to know what it does yet. I'm sure if I encounter it before they patch it, I'll take advantage of it. We're pretty wounded here, so I am going to go ahead and use my knife for a while. In spite of being called the Dura knife, it only has 30 durability, which is not awesome. Could be using the crowbar, but it's still got a high enough miss rate with our okay melee that I'm not going to treat it as a reliable weapon to use when we're in. Yeah, see, we're taking knife damage like crazy. No, that's okay. Has it been 30 turns? No. I'm not sure if the positive ones recharge or not. I know the negative ones recharge every 30 turns. Well, that's really incredibly interesting. Okay, cool. I've got about 20 more minutes of streaming. 10 or 20. Got a friend come by to pick up a book that he loaned me, and oh, I do want to test out this door trap. Since it can't actually kill us, I don't think. Decreases speed, alright. Okay. So the reason why I dropped all of my stuff there is because one of the door traps is particularly nasty and it destroys a random item in your inventory. So what you want to do is drop all your stuff, walk through the door trap. If it doesn't do anything, then you pick up one of your least useful items. Usually it's a single round of ammunition or a sonic nodule early on is not particularly useful, that sort of thing. And walk through it again and see if it destroys it.
Give me strength.
If it doesn't, it's something else. It could be any number of things. Sorry, I actually, I might have seen, you said something in the last 30 seconds, so I'll just save again, unfortunately. My current setup with my computer is a little bit wonky. A couple of weeks ago, my monitor burned out, so I'm using an old television. Resolution is terrible. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to rest in this bed because we are really wounded and got a decent amount of food, and I'd rather not use these med kits. I feel like food is going to be less of a problem this run than health. Just a hunch that I'm getting. It's not always the case, but also beds are really nice because they completely refill your health, I think, guaranteed. Or at least they refill enough health that most characters will have their health fully restored. As opposed to resting out in the open, which only restores a portion of it. Yes, there was a thing right behind us. I love this game. It's just so cruel sometimes. I really enjoy it. Alright, now we'll go back to Punch. I've really been enjoying Striker lately. I know it's going to be incredibly difficult later on to only have one speed, but I do really enjoy the slower than normal and therefore overpowered in other ways kind of characters and classes in various games. I think it stems from the fact that I'm kind of a bad Twitch gamer. My reflexes are not awesome. And just some bad RNG there. It's okay. We'll be fine. Hey, we got a level up. That's swell. Well, we're already poisoned. Let's go ahead and shoot this guy with one set of rounds here. Okay, so the difference between poison and disease is that poison stacks on itself. If you get poisoned from multiple sources, it will stack in level. Disease doesn't as much. I think you can be re-diseased at the highest level disease that thing can give you, but I don't think it can increase that way. Whereas, which is to balance out the fact that poison cannot increase naturally, it only decreases. Yeah, the mercenary I think is cool just because of the big old war hammer that it gets. But the food clock is something else, and the enemy difficulty is definitely up there. Although I feel like it's not that much worse than the scout. Honestly, this is the first time I've played through as a scout. And the marine I just don't like. It feels like a slog trying to get all of your non-combat skills working without too much elsewhere. I don't know. I've only played I think one game as the marine. It was one of my first ones, so it was bound to be a failure regardless. But I really like the striker. It reminds me, if you played any dungeon crawl, it reminds me of following Chabriados, where your speed eventually. Ooh, there's a mine. We'll go ahead and throw our side shield up.
Focus on
It's nice that we have
breathing.
access to that. And I think we're out of range. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot that down. The mine bolts are just. They can be really dangerous. Fear, especially. Well, fear at any point in the game is super duper dangerous. We could actually conceivably die to this Ghostmaker, so I think I'm going to go ahead and level that, and we'll be getting a lot of experience from these two enemies that I don't want to accidentally double level. Oh no, stat drain. Yeah, I haven't encountered death from stat drain yet, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Yeah, that slave collar is pretty cool. I have had that going on another character, an engineer who
Nice try.
it was a good engineer run. I think that's the one I made it to like level. I think I made it to at least level 20 on that. Okay, well we've got the Ghostmaker. I was about to say get that. Not quite.
Trophy.
I think we can do that. You know, we'll shoot him one more time. Wow, he's feeling pretty tough. We can be a little more liberal with our health bar early on because we level more. But yes, Striker reminds me a lot of Chabriados Follower, where you just feel so powerful and so slow. But I really enjoy it because it rewards you. Teleport trap. It greatly rewards you for good positioning, and I think that's an excellent way to learn the game. Or at least I enjoy learning games that way. Is to be forced to think about every movement and kind of build good habits that way. The only thing is in this game it doesn't quite translate because of the being able to move before you act, like getting half actions almost, makes positioning a lot more elaborate than it might otherwise be, especially when you get into classes that have free movement, or if you end up with items that grant additional movement, such as the slave collar.
No worries.
That being said, this game is hard, and so, yeah, well, that was bust. I was hoping to play with a character that had a bit higher decipher. Maybe I'll do a Seeker next time. Be a Space Dolphin. Oh, I would like to give a shout out this time to Lucky Luck Luke, who I've been watching stream a little bit, or at least I've been watching some of his recordings. And
In record time.
also a shout out to Sunnyth, who I noticed was watching Lucky Luck Luke's stream, and who also has occasionally hung out on this stream as well. We can break the game, get to a silly movement. Yeah. It's always interesting. I love seeing what aspects of the game the developers didn't plan for, because you can't plan for everything. I mean, even in a really tight game. Ooh, a purifier. Ooh, that we've got ourselves a run. Not too incredibly exciting because it's still just a purifier, but it means that we can do some really interesting things with our various foods that we find. Cool, yeah, I figured that the roguelike community in general is fairly small, and the Dungeon Crawl / Sword of the Stars crossover community is extremely small. So if you happen to bump into them, tell them hi from Dr. Queen, because this is the first time I've streamed in probably 3 months, maybe even longer than that. That being said, I do plan on streaming a bit more frequently. I finally, after months and months of being insanely busy all the time, just all the time, I finally have some time to relax. I can stream and expend energy this way instead of just zoning out and relaxing and playing a game. So all that to say, I think I'm going to start wrapping up the stream here, because my buddy should be here soon. We can go ahead and assign our points here. Hitting Might 45 is nice because some of our skills go up. I'm going to go ahead and keep plugging along with these. Good, we got Mega Sense. Psi skills. I have yet to determine which of the Psi trees I like the best. I know that I like Warmind the least. Actually, that's something we can do with the last couple of seconds here, is go over some of the Psi skills. People haven't seen this game before. You have 7 Psi trees. Each of them are powerful in their own way. None of them will solely carry you through the game. For example, Heal is excellent. We'll be adding into our bar. But as you can see, with relatively low psionics, we only heal for 25 of our 225 health, less than a 10% heal, which also has a 16-turn cooldown. So you cannot just run around and take damage willy-nilly and then heal it all the way. It's still a very metered resource, especially since our psi regen isn't excellent in the scout. Though there are things that increase. For every weakness in the game, there is something to either ameliorate the weakness or remove your reliance on it. So there are things that'll increase our psi regeneration or what have you. And just putting points into power, which I think we're going to do after we hit Might 50. I think I'm just going to start pumping things into power from there on out. It'll leave us with mediocre brains, but that's acceptable because we get so many skill points. Yeah, telekinesis is possibly my favorite tree. I think it's just an incredibly versatile and powerful tree. You get 2 offensive abilities, and TK Fist. Yeah, towards the end of the game, you can do some pretty ridiculous damage with this, I would imagine. And it's also just very useful in general as a pseudo unlimited resource. That is to say, you never run out of it. You can only run out of psi points. Mega Sense, we'll go ahead and assign. I actually really like the detection abilities. I didn't think I would, but they are astonishingly useful in this game. Between things just sneaking up behind you or spawning behind you. Ooh, that was bad. I didn't want to do that. Spawning behind you. And just plotting your routes. And also, sometimes there are things that disguise themselves as other things, and it's really nice to know that they're going to eat you. So, Yeah, so basically, I'm still experimenting with psionics, and that's why I'm putting so many points into it right now. I haven't ever gotten a character up to 50 manifestation, for example, so I have no idea how good this tree is. Although I imagine being able to copy items on the fly is awesome. Don't know for sure, but I'm gonna assume. Ooh, I also forgot to turn down slimmer. Oh well, it'll be. But yes, so I'm afraid I have to go for today. I did spend half the time just setting this thing up. So I promise that I will get a little more gameplay for you next time. But in the meantime, it's been fun. Nanothingy, thank you for stopping by. It's been nice chatting with you. I hope that you stop by again. And I had another visitor at the very beginning when I was streaming. That was before I managed to get the sound of my voice as part of the stream. So hopefully that individual returns someday. But regardless, whether you're watching this live or recorded, I appreciate your viewership. And I hope to bring you many more videos of this game because I really do enjoy it. And I've been a little burned out on Crawl lately. I'll sometimes go a couple of years in between playing that game and then do nothing but play that for another 6 months. Alright, I'm going to stop rambling and go take care of my business, but it's been fun, and thanks for watching. See you next time.